Now, BJ's been waiting on. G'day, BJ.
How you going, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm wonderful, thanks.
Very, very good. What's on your mind? Let's talk.
Yeah, I'm calling up about the vegan and the animal rights activism.
Yeah, is it a fad?
No, definitely not.
Are you a
No way.
vegan?
I am.
Okay, give us your side of the story. What's this about the stickers being slapped on packets of meat?
So with the stickers, that's been happening for quite a while. But yeah, vegans or activists will put just an informative link on the sticker on the back of an animal product, and someone will go home, they'll flip it upside down, like, oh, what's this? And it just put something in their mind. They might look into it and just see what their money is going behind. Something as simple as that. And I mean, it doesn't destroy the product. It doesn't stop.
Yeah, you are. You're vandalising someone else's property.
But if is it stopping them from making money? Like, is it stopping them from, like, it's not damaging the product?
Listen, it doesn't bother me. If I want to buy a T-bone or a rump or a Scotch fillet or a chicken, you can put your sticker on it. It's not going to stop me from buying it. But you're not talking to me. You're talking to people who you want them to think twice before buying meat. Is that pretty much right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
And have you?
Well, next time they buy meat, I guess, because sometimes I'm pretty sure that they're tactical about it. Like, they don't put the sticker right on top of it. Otherwise, it'll just get taken away. But in some instances, it'll be on the bottom. So they'll get home and flip it upside down and be like, oh, what's this? The next time they go to buy an animal product, they'll think twice. You know.
How long have you been a vegan?
4 years.
4 years. And what made you start?
Ethics.
Ethics.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, we're basically just back to the majority of people in the world. They say they care about animals, and they say they've never hurt an animal. But then they don't realise, that we don't actually have to consume them to survive anymore. So when you come across that, and not to mention the environmental damage and stuff, and the fact that we kill 50 to 70 billion animals every single year when society's evolved to the point where we just no longer need to consume them, for someone who's an animal lover, to knowingly contribute to something that's killing so many animals at the cost of the health of our planet when there's proven alternatives, it's hypocrisy. When you say they care about someone, but you're still putting money in the part of supply and demand that's killing those things that you claim to care about.
Yeah. I wonder, look, I try and encourage all points of view on this program. Obviously, I have an opinion. That's why I'm here. But if you don't listen to other people, you don't learn, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Would you be happy either tonight or maybe on another occasion when it suits to take calls from people who have questions for you?
Take calls to my phone.
Like you would be on the phone here with me.
Yeah, sure.
And then and on the other line, I would let people talk to you on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
I wonder if there's anyone out there that would like to talk to BJ, who's been a vegan for 4 years, who hasn't got a problem with putting stickers on meat. Do you have a problem with animal activists going onto farms?
Do I have a problem with that? No, I don't. I think because of the severity of what's happening, like even science has released that we've got less than 12 years to really turn our financial choices around before the earth faces irreversible damage. And in terms of just going to a farm, like the activists who go into a farm and get footage and then they walk off, I get that that'd be stressful for the farmer, but they're not going in there, to the best of my knowledge, or at least in most cases, they're not going there causing damage to, and I don't consider animals property, they're not causing damage to property, and maybe they've rescued a few animals, cool, saves the animal's life, but also just getting the footage and showing the conditions. But it's not about the conditions, it's about the unnecessary exploitation and ultimate killing of those animals.
Okay, you're just going a little bit quick here. I'll ask you again, do you approve of animal activists, pardon me, going onto farms and breaking down fences and stealing livestock?
I approve of them going to farms. I don't approve of them.
Even if that involves breaking the law, trespassing?
Yeah.
So you approve of them breaking the law?
Well, just because something's legal doesn't make it right, and just because something's illegal doesn't make it wrong.
So,
think of it like this, right? If you were the victim, if you were in the victim's shoes, if you were the one about to face death row...
Yeah, but see, I'm comfortable where I am on the food chain.
The food chain?
Mm.
So what's the food chain to you? What would you...
Well, I mean, I appreciate that animals are bred for consumption, and I enjoy eating meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what does the food how does the food chain justify that, though, if it's not necessary?
Well, you said imagine if you were something that was going to be eaten. Well, I'm not. But I don't believe in breaking the law. And the other thing I know, BJ, is that a lot of these farmers that you're antagonising and shaming have suffered drought, have suffered floods. Do you know what the suicide rate is with farmers?
No, I don't.
They're very close to breaking point, and I'm worried that one of your mob might tip someone over the edge and someone's going to get hurt.
That's an understandable concern.
No, I'm seriously concerned.
With the droughts and the floods and stuff, there's a lot of stuff going around with farmers saying, why aren't there vegans there trying to help our animals and stuff? But the irony of that's they want us to come and save the animals that they're later on going to kill so they can make money out of it.
So, So instead of putting stickers on food or breaking onto farms and stealing livestock, putting your hand in your pocket and helping to buy some feed for farm. I've known a lot of farmers. I've lived in the bush for many, many years. Every farmer I've ever met cares very much for their livestock. They look after them. Yeah,
but if they weren't making money out of it, would they really be caring about those animals as much then?
Well, that's the thing. That's what they're there for. You happy to stay there, BJ?
Sure.
All right. Well, if there's anyone listening that wants to talk to BJ the vegan, who's happy to take some calls, give us a call right now, 133353, and BJ, I appreciate it. Stay right there. Back in a sec. We don't all have to agree on everything. In fact, if we did, it'd be bloody boring, wouldn't it? So BJ has been good enough to ring. BJ the vegan, he's online. G'day, mate.
Hey, mate.
Okay, I'm glad you rang.
Thanks for having me.
No, and you said you're happy to talk to people, so
absolutely.
A couple of people have rung through. I don't know these people. They've only just rung since you rang, and they may agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Jacob, g'day.
How you going?
I'm good, thanks, Jacob. BJ the vegan's on the other line.
How you going, BJ?
Yeah, good, bro. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just out of curiosity, mate. If I had a belief that I don't believe you're allowed to watch TV, and I break into your house and take your TV, is that ethical?
Well, no.
No, it's definitely not. So these vegan activists and stuff that are breaking into farms and taking animals and that sort of stuff, it's trespassing. It is the old-fashioned trespassing and burglary. Where's these laws? Where's the ethnic, behind all of that sort of stuff to...
Well, I don't want to talk for BJ, but BJ, you said that just because something's illegal doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah. So with what Jacob said about belief, irony of the word, belief, but to me as well, it's not really belief. It's based on facts. They're taking action based on stuff like how science has declared that less than 12 years to turn around, and then the biggest impact on that planet is this industry, animal agriculture. It's not a belief, it's a fact, messing up that planet.
Okay.
It's a fact that petrol and diesel cars are doing bad for the earth too. So does that mean I can go out and pinch everyone's diesel cars and petrol cars because it's my belief that it's bad for the earth because scientists say they are? You know what I mean? It's a cult. The veganism activist stuff is turning into a cult, and it's gonna get violent.
Think about this. Obviously, there's all these things that are impacting the planet. But animal agriculture is number one. It's leading cause of deforestation, species extinction. Obviously, they're killing 50 to 70 billion animals every single year. Leading cause of pollution, food wastage, water wastage. That tops the transportation sector massively, even though that's massive itself. But what do you expect people to do if this industry is going to keep going?
But BJ, what Jacob just said, because I've got to keep this moving along. He said if he has a belief that stealing somebody's diesel or petrol internal combustion engine car is ultimately going to be good for the planet, and just because it's illegal, I think my right and my concern for the planet overrides that. Does that make it right? That's what, Jacob, is that pretty much what you were saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So you're going to agree to disagree. I think BJ the vegan believes in what he believes, but isn't willing. BJ, I don't think you're willing to move.
No, it's not that. It's just if you're factually making a difference because of a massive thing, then
so we can steal cars because we think they're bad for the environment.
Sorry.
So it's okay to steal a motor car if you think you're doing the right thing by the environment.
I think
You said it's okay to break into somebody's farm and take their livestock because the end justifies the means. Is that the case with stealing a car?
I think just in comparison, like the scale's a massive difference.
All right. Look, Jacob, we're going around in circles. Jacob, thanks for your point.
No worries, mate.
Okay, thank you. Brian, good morning, Brian.
How are you?
I'm very good. BJ, the vegan's on the other line. What do you want to say?
Oh, pretty much what the other one said, but there's a little bit more to it. With some of the farmers these days, like what vegans don't understand is all the hard work that goes into the livestock and whatnot. With rotating them, trying to make sure they're up to date with food, and especially with the drought, it's hard. It's not easy. I used to be a farmer, and I used to even help my neighbour, rotate his bulls, cows, and everything. And he's the type of person, like, what I'm trying to get at is if he's willing to do, what he's doing with the properties, he's got to be careful because some farmers won't hesitate to just shoot. Does he realise that?
I know. There are some farmers who are very, very close to breaking. And if people came onto their properties and started stealing their livestock, God knows what would happen. And remember, farmers have guns. This is what really worries me. Can you see what I'm saying, BJ?
Yeah, no, I totally do believe that there is that risk, and I do, and don't get me wrong too. Like, I totally understand the farmers' frustration. I get that it would be annoying, and
annoying. You're stealing their livelihood. Yeah.
So, like, there's something that I think a lot of people don't realise is, like, it might seem this way, but like, majority of vegans don't hate farmers. The majority of animal rights activists don't hate farmers. They understand that these people are trying to make a living. They also understand that what's happening to these animals. And with these farmers who are struggling because of drought and flood and whatever, if the business is really being that hard, is that really an industry you want to stay in for the rest of your life if you're struggling that much constantly, especially at the cost of an animal's life to make money?
Yeah. When you say the end justifies the means, and I know what you're saying, what about the activists that stormed the abattoir in Victoria and sprayed the place with ammonia, and workers had to go to hospital because they were suffering asphyxiation and their eyes were screaming at them? Is that sort of behaviour tolerated?
I don't think hurting people is ever tolerated. So animal rights and veganism are supposed to be about non-violence.
So they stuffed up on that occasion.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I didn't even know about it until tonight, and I know a lot about. I even know people who were involved in it, Australia wide. I didn't know about the ammonia thing. So
yeah.
And honestly, if people did get hurt, I think that was dumb stuff up by them. They didn't realise that actually people were going to be affected by the ammonia.
Yeah, well, they were. Brian, is there anything else you wanted to add, mate?
There's a couple, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to talk about it, to be honest.
Anyway, look, you got your point across very well, and I really appreciate your call. I've got a few other people there, so I'll move on. But thank you, Brian. Peter, g'day.
G'day, Luke.
G'day, Pete. BJ, the vegan's on the other line.
Yeah. Hello, mate. One thing that's curiosity's got me on that you're all for protection of the animals. Okay, I consider it a circle of life. The farmers, they raise the animals for our consumption, and they look after the animals, they feed them, they make sure they've got water. If they have any injuries or illnesses, they take great care of them with vets and everything. Lambs are a perfect example. They get fly blown if someone's not looking after them, cutting the wool around from their rear end. Okay, let's say we all follow your cause. We all go vegan. And then we allow all these animals to live. And they live. They eat themselves out of food. They ended up overpopulating. We've now got too many of them. And they end up dying of starvation. They've got nothing to eat. There's no one to care for them. How do you cope with that? Do you have a natural cull situation where you take the least healthiest and cull them off so that the best ones can live? Or do you allow the farmers to properly raise them? This circle of life, they're raised for food. How do you combat if we don't raise them for food?
BJ.
So, like, with this, we've got to be practical as well. Like, so obviously we can't, supply homes for 50 billion plus animals or whatever it is per year, but it comes down to like the supply and demand. So, obviously people are killing animals every single day, 260 million land animals. But what it's going to come down to, are you guys still there?
Yeah, with this thing.
Oh, yeah, cool. So it's going to come down to the supply.
I'm trying to let you have your say, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I just went really, really quiet.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so what it comes down to is the supply and demand. So obviously, we aren't going to be able to give homes to X amount of animals and so forth. But when, say, for example, animal rights activists who talk to consumers, they're trying to encourage consumers to not put money into these industries anymore. And what happens when these businesses don't make as much money? Those businesses eventually go down.
Okay, can I just ask you something, BJ? For example, in the Snowy Mountains, there is a problem with wild horses that have been able to breed and breed and breed, and they're ruining the environment. You saw the same thing with kangaroos, particularly when I was living in the ACT. There was a kangaroo cull, and animal activists were up in arms because they were going to have to shoot these kangaroos because the population had just exploded, and there simply wasn't enough food for them. They were going to die of starvation or be culled. What about a situation like that? How do you feel about that?
In terms of pest control?
Yeah, pest control, when the animals have been allowed to breed and beyond sustainability.
Mm-hmm. I think, sometimes there is going to be, I haven't got all the answers for pest control, so sometimes there's an unnecessary evil. However, I do know that part of the booming for kangaroo is because of animal agriculture too, because out in the farming industry they've got water troughs and stuff further out in the land, and the kangaroos travel further out, further and further, and they've got more space to populate, and that causes overpopulation issues.
So would you say a culling is humane?
I don't believe in a humane death for an animal that does not want to die. If an animal's literally suffering, then yeah, like if I was suffering and there's no way to reasonably fix that, I hope someone put me out of my misery too.
So one more question, and I don't want to cut you short. I think I've given you a pretty good go. I've just got to keep things moving. How are you with fish? Vegans don't eat fish. Is there a problem with us eating fish and catching fish?
Well, they're living beings. They have feeling sensations and a brain and a heart and everything too, just like land animals do.
See, my mob have been eating kangaroo, goanna, emu, and fishing for 60,000 years.
Sure. But think about this: it comes down to the science and issues as well, like environmental destruction and stuff. So we're killing 2.7 trillion marine animals every single year.
I think I am very concerned about overfishing. Very, very concerned. But if I want to take my son fishing, and we put a line in the water, and we only keep what we're going to eat, is there a problem with that?
I'm understandable with that too. Like, so if you're hunting to supply your own food, that's a whole other ball game. So
so if I want to go out and hunt kangaroo and I'm going to consume that kangaroo, that's okay.
If you got a reasonable alternative, yeah, survival. But if you can survive happy and healthy, and the only thing that's being killed are plants, because let's face it, a dog's life is worth more than a potato. If you can survive without killing an animal, wouldn't you rather that option?
What if they could absolutely prove, and they reckon they can, that plants also feel pain?
So do you think plants are sentient and intelligent?
Yeah, that plants can actually feel pain and can sense pain. There are scientific experiments that suggest that maybe that's the case. I just read these things. I'm just putting it to you.
Absolutely, it's a good thing to bring up too. So it's good to consider that too, because a lot of people don't realise what other beings on this planet may or may not feel in some cases.
Okay. Listen, Peter, I've got to keep moving. Is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Yeah, just a quick question. The dairy cow, perfect example. Every day it produces milk. It looks forward to getting rid of that milk. Do you think that it's right that you shouldn't milk it and let it suffer carrying all that milk around and put it through pain and suffering because you don't believe in milking a dairy cow?
So she is in pain and suffering because she's been over impregnated so much that she overproduces milk, and that's because of her species and all that she's been constantly put through.
But they're still going to produce milk. That's what a dairy cow is. So regardless of whether it happens in a day or it happens in a week, if there's no one to milk it, that cow is going to go through suffering until someone milks it. But you're against milking a cow.
Why does she need to be milked though? Why is it going? Well, in nature, what would have happened before we came along?
Well, for hundreds of years, for example, because I've been to India, where cows are sacred, and they don't cull cows for meat, but they keep cows for their byproducts. For example, as it was explained to me, why would you kill a cow and eat it when you can use it, especially a female cow, for milk and for yogurt, and it can keep producing milk and yogurt? Now, the Indians have been doing that for thousands of years. Anyway, look, Peter, I've got to keep going, buddy.
Yeah. Good night, BJ, and good night, Luke. Yep. Thanks, mate.
Thank you for your call. Look, I'll let BJ go, but there are plenty of people on the line who want to have their say. Just keep them there, and I'll get to those callers. BJ, thank you for being honest and man enough to take some calls. I really appreciate it, and I hope you feel you've had a fair go.
Yeah, I just there's one little thing I didn't really finish saying before. I just want people to consider what their supply and demand is and what their money is supporting. And at the end of the day, you can just make a different choice and save an animal's life by buying a different product. Many businesses go down. Netflix took over for Blockbuster, and they had to find another way to make money. Same thing with animal farmers. If we can survive without killing an animal and support plant farmers, why not do that?
Okay, I'll just ask you one last time. You justify that the end justifies the means, and you think it's okay for animal activists to break into farms, pull down fences, and steal livestock?
I do not think it's okay to damage a person's property, but remember, I don't think animals are property. I think saving an animal is absolutely fine because of that. The cows, they're supposed to live for 20 years. Farmers tend to kill them within 2 years. And activists going in there and taking that cow away from that farmer and giving her a fresh home gives that cow a full life where she doesn't get her throat slit at the end of the day because we want to drink her baby's milk or eat her flesh.
And when these activists take these cows and these sheep, where do they take them? What do they do with them?
They take them to a home where they're going to have live a full life.
What home?
I'm not too sure. I just know they take them somewhere. I don't know they're taking them somewhere where they're not being exploited for their bodily parts or what comes from their body.
Okay. Thank you for your call.
No worries. Thank you so much for the chat.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's interesting. What do you make of all of that? This is The Night Shift on Triple M.